Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Welcome, everybody. Um, Sorry, I was having a weird afternoon. Hey, Joy. Hey, Christy. I'll have you up in a minute. We have Christy in the chat who's coming up. Oh my God, I was peeing. How did you know I was peeing? It's the Thrive. Welcome, everybody. If you didn't know earlier, I was streaming and I had an alarm going off in the background. You guys heard that, right? Well, that was a pipe froze in the attic, and the condominiums above us were starting to flood. Well, not like flood, but there was water coming through. So there was water coming through my smoke detector. So I had a guy over here. It smells like, oh God, what's the name? Radon? I forget the word he used. There's some weird chemical that smelled like mold. And hey, Gingerlocks. Hey, DeRosa. Hey, Leisha. Janet. So yeah, it was a weird afternoon. I didn't know if I was going to make it on time. However, I made it on time. We're going to have a wonderful conversation. I hope you guys watched. I don't know if you watched all 3 episodes, but there are going to be some spoilers if maybe you didn't watch all 3. So I'm really excited. We're going to have Christy on. Elizabeth was not feeling so well. Radon. Yeah, something like that. So we do have Christy, and then I'm waiting for the other Christy as well, but we're going to have a wonderful conversation about this. There's lots of stuff to go over, and I'm really excited because I enjoyed the documentary. There was a few things that really caught my attention on it, so we're going to get started in just a moment. No, no chance. No, no dance. All right. All right. So just to get an overall idea. Oh, you love the green? I've been playing around with my mohawk. It's just been fun lately, just feeling like I'm young, I'm going to turn 39 in May, so I need to do something to hang on to my youth. But hit a 1 if you guys have completed the documentary. I just want to get an overall idea from the Cecil Hotel documentary. Hit a 1 if you guys have finished it. Green's your favorite color. Hey, Jessica, Brianna, welcome everybody. True crime, Aussie true crime lover. This guy made ones. You had a green mohawk 4 years ago. Well, see, this is just spray and stuff, so I kind of just color coordinate. I have tons of different colors. So whatever color I'm wearing, I just color coordinate. You feel me? You only watch stuff in the past. Well, Devil Mike, you know what? Whether you've watched documentaries on YouTube or whatever in the past, it's kind of, either way, it's okay. Because, oh, you like blue? Okay. What date in May? It always lands on Memorial Day. Most of the time, my birthday. I did my stream on the subject on my channel today. Oh, Just Brett. Okay. Got to put Just Brett's link in the chat. Just Brett, can you hold on a moment? Okay. I made you a moderator if you want to drop your Romana, thank you. Wow. Wow. I made you a moderator, Just Brett, if you want to put your channel link in the chat. And so let me bust out my notes. Where do I start with this crap? Okay. First off, there was many conspiracies, kind of coincidences and conspiracies mentioned in this documentary. So now hit a number 1 if you feel like this was a simple case of, undertaking her meds and maybe possibly, just an accidental drowning. Hit a 1 if that's what you believe. Thank you, Janine. Bella, just watch This Weekend, can't hear it. Well, Ash, mine... Yeah, Dark Water was a crazy movie based on this. Oh, I'm seeing some twos. Oh my God, St. Patrick's Day is coming up, isn't it? I didn't even think about that. Wow. You'd like to know what was going on in her head when... Well, okay, so let's get into it. Elisa Lam, she was basically on social media, posting stuff about her trip. 21 years old. She wanted to go to California because she said it to get out of her head, to keep her sane. She needed something to keep her sane, right? You're on episode 3. Oh, okay. Episode 3 was my favorite, by the way. So, if you look at her blogs, which, honestly, I didn't even take the time. I have in the past, but after the documentary, I didn't look at her blogs if they're still there. Hey, not my verbiage. So she goes to California, but beforehand, you guys remember she was talking about somebody was following her. Now, this is later on in the documentary. They mentioned that her sister said when she was younger, she often used to have spells of running around the house, hiding under the bed, being afraid that somebody was following her. So if we kind of take that from her past and apply it to, what we saw in the elevator footage, that would kind of make sense, right? Yes, the different foot next to the elevator, Robin. Yes. So, when you go with somebody like her and she's going out, and she seemed like she was pretty open, transparent in her blogging, talking about her, bipolar disorder, stuff like that. It seemed like she was very open and didn't do drugs, didn't drink, anything like that, right? The manager. We're going to get to the manager in just a minute. So basically, we have this girl going to California, staying by Skid Row, where many, many, many drugs, are being dealt. Many crazy things have happened in this hotel to begin with. But then we get to the part, and this is a little bit further down. I'm going to be jumping around, but when she gets there, I had no idea, actually, and I had followed this case before, but I had no idea that she was in joint, like, lodging in the rooms with other girls. I didn't know that before. And then she starts writing notes and leaving them on their beds, like, get out, leave, stuff like that. So they move her to a room by herself. My concern, and I don't know if anybody else caught this, was why were these supposed roommates of hers, never interviewed? Where are they? I would love to see what they had to say with their own mouths. Hey, AJ, about her behavior and how she was acting. So let's get into the manager. Hit a 1 if you think the manager's shady. Just out of curiosity. Now, again, these are all opinions. We're not finger pointing. We're not doing any of that. So she was in, while you're doing that, I'm just going to say she was in room 506, was a female bunk group with community toilets. So I just don't understand, because it would be a money thing. Why would you, oh, wow, lots of people think she's shady. Why would she be moved to a different room by herself? Especially, don't you think that would change the price of things or maybe the availability? I just found that to be a little bit odd as far as, secluding her to a certain area by herself. You feel me? Yeah, why would she have roommates? Well, I guess, the stay on main, which was a separate part of the Cecil because it's divided up. She was staying in the hotel part and the stay on main. And it just so happened, I guess, with prices being different and stuff, that she was, it was probably like a bargain thing, a package deal, and the way they set it up to put her in a room with roommates. But I found it very odd that was a thing where her behavior was odd, but we never see these roommates or talk to them. So let's get into the manager of the hotel. She had worked there, what was it, 10 years? Basically, her job, and she even says this in the documentary, lots of shadiness, okay. She says in the documentary that her job, because the Cecil Hotel, back from basically when it was built, was starting to kind of go downhill since the Depression, and kind of, that area started getting bad, and she was basically hired on. Manager was trying to paint a bad picture of her, Samantha. She was basically hired on to flip that hotel around and make it something wonderful again, make it successful again. get it up and running again. So it comes to be that, this elevator footage looks like it is tampered with. It's strange. The way you miss almost like a minute, you can't see the timing. It looks like it's edited. So later on in the documentary, this manager, and I'll get to what I think about her in a minute, my theory on that. She basically says, that footage couldn't have been tampered with because of the fact, hang on, Christy's having problems getting in. Hold on, Christy. Because of the fact that she was the one that handed the footage over, so she knows for a fact it wasn't tampered with. Now, I'm not finger pointing, but this is just something that popped to my mind. If you are trying to flip a hotel around or any place and get attention, even on YouTube, right? We have people that, they sad fish or they come up with a big story to try to get attention. In my opinion, I'm thinking, what better way, especially a hotel, because we see hotels like the one from The Shining, the Stanley Hotel, or the haunted hotel I'm about to visit next week. Though people flock to that, you gain money, it gets popular. And hang on one second, Christine, I'll help you out here. It gets popular. So what better way than to come up with like this big unsolved mystery that could be involved with paranormal as well? You know what I'm saying? Yeah, drama creator. Exactly. Not my verbiage. Give me just a minute because Christy's trying to get in. Okay, Christy, if you're listening, hit the StreamYard link. Let me make sure I gave you the correct one. Crime scene. Maybe I gave you the one to my other stream that's scheduled. Okay, Christy, I'm going to send you this link. Hit the link, and when you get it, click on it. Okay, and if it's saying copy and paste, you can't do it. What you want to do is go into your the blue browser. What's the blue browser called? Not Firefox. Help me out here. That's a pretty good theory. Creative renewal. You want to do it under, okay, let me just show you. What is this blue internet thing? You want it right there. See that? Don't look at my cuticles or my nails. I bite them. See that? You want it to be in that, not in Chrome. Safari, thank you, Ash. Safari. And copy and paste it into Safari. Copy and paste it into Safari. So as far as that's what I think about as far as if you were going to try to, get attention towards the hotel, right? You want to say it's haunted. People flock to haunted hotels. Hit a 1 if you want to stay in a haunted hotel. I know I do. I'm going next Monday to do so. And it's going to be fun. By the way, Sandra, my psychic medium friend, she is excited to, I think she's either going to be on stream or make a visit while I'm there, but I am going to be there by myself for a while. All right, so let's get into the elevator footage, right? So the last time Elisa was seen, okay, ones, I'm seeing some ones. Thank you, Christola. The last time Elisa was seen was in this infamous elevator footage that we see. Now, I understand, it says later on in the documentary that she was undertaking her meds. I've never really had to deal with people closely. She looks like your current realtor. I've never had to, I went to a wedding, but didn't stay the night. Haunted mansion again. Hey, Shaymore. Okay, so I've never had to deal with somebody that has, bipolar disorder or anything. I don't really know how that works as far as undertaking your meds. But if she has a history of kind of running around the house, running scared from, whatever's chasing her, that can play a role in what happened. But what confuses me, and somebody said she hit the 2-minute hold button on the elevator. Is that true? You guys know anything about that? because she gets in the elevator, she's out of it, she's pushing all of the buttons. But what confused me is, okay, if she's having this manic episode, pushing all the buttons, why in the world, if after what, the doors aren't closing, so that would normally mean, oh, that's what they said, Lindsay? She would sit at the window and peek through the blinds for hours. Ooh, like a paranoia. Hey, Shelly. I heard that too. It's the bottom of the middle row of buttons. Okay, well, what confuses me is when she finally steps off and kind of disappears, the elevator doors close. But then if they closed and all the floor buttons were pushed, why did the doors open back up again? That's what I want to know. Why didn't it just take off and go to whatever floor first that it needed to? Sandy says, I would like to know why the footage was edited when the doors... Exactly. Yeah. She pushed the buttons in a strange sequence if you watch closely. Yeah, and there's a theory. You guys have heard of the elevator game, right? Hold on. Copy and paste the link and then put it into the browser. Sorry, Christy's having issues. I hate seeing someone on footage I can't help. Yeah, it's frustrating, right? Especially when you know the outcome. Hey, Serena. The footage was supposedly sped up and spliced. Yeah, but if they received it like that, it's very weird the way it happened. And then she was barefoot, right? So a lot of people are saying, well, and in the documentary they said there is a foot that you kind of see, and the way that the foot is lined up is kind of, she would have to have been walking really, really strange in order for it to be set up like that. What the hell is she? Okay, hold on. I don't know what. Hold on. So copy and paste the link I sent you and then put it into the browser. It should. I don't know why it's not working. That's so strange. We're gonna have to figure out how to get Christy on here. The general manager gave super creepy vibes in her interview. Yeah, and you could tell maybe she's a little bit nervous, a little bit. Hey, Jeffrey. I don't know, but here's what confuses me. She's clearly out of it. She's acting weird. I personally don't know what to think about somebody else being there outside the elevator. So hit a 1 if you think a physical person, not a demon, not a ghost. Hit a 1 if you think there was an actual person outside of the elevator. She had black shoes on. Okay. Well, and it's strange because the foot is on one side, but she's actually talking to the other side. Hey, Heavenly Hideaway. No, you don't. The GM is a moron. She only got the job because no experienced hotel manager would ever take that job. Yeah, and you'd think you'd kind of look into the history before you go. And the Cecil already had quite the history. You would think she would have heard about kind of what went on there. I think it's interesting that she was on the 14th floor. A lot of activity. Where'd that go? A lot of activity on that floor. Watch Zach Bagans' Ghost Adventure. Well, that brings up the question, how did she get up there? Because there's no elevator footage of her getting up to the 14th floor, right? So she would have had to have gone up the fire escape, which was outside. The stairs, the fire escape. You think she gave a good job interview? Yeah, I mean, she did do good. I just think that I get into conspiracies a lot. Did it show the video? It showed the elevator video, but I don't remember seeing a video of how she got to the 14th floor. Do you? Hold on, I got to listen to this voice message from Chris. Sorry about that, guys. Not every floor in the place had a camera in the hallways. They did state that also her floor did not have a camera on it. Right. Yeah, but what confuses me is, if she got in the elevator, which the elevator did have a camera, wouldn't we see her getting in the elevator going up to the 14th floor? They only showed the footage of her already being on the 14th floor. So yeah, did that ass get passed around? Yes, Lufa, my ass is on Twitter. The elevator has a camera. Exactly, Dory. They had shared elevators with both hotels. They said a dog picked up her scent at the window. Exactly, Laura. And that window was on the 14th floor. Now, what gets me, what's very strange to me, is how she gets to the rooftop. Because it's either getting to the rooftop, you need a key for that alarm. If you're going through that hatch, hey, Daniel, see, a lot of people think she was sketchy. You need a key to get through there in order or the front desk person needs to turn the alarm off. I don't know about you, but I'm terrified of heights. So the alternate way, the only other way she could have got up there was to go further up the fire escape on that ladder where she literally could have plunged to her death. And that ladder looked terrifying. And I don't know, in the state of mind she was in, I don't really see her capable of climbing that ladder. What do you guys think? If she was murdered and put in the tank, then how was she murdered and the autopsy didn't show wounds, strangulation? Exactly. Candy thinks the maintenance man did it. The window was on the 13th floor where the outside fire escape was. Oh, okay, hold on. Crime scene. Invite guest. Copy. Christy, can you send me your email? Can you send me an email and I'll send it to you through email? Oh, you think she could climb it? Climbing it at night? That would be horrible. Yeah, any time of day for me, that would be a no. And I've gone bungee jumping a lot in my life, but when I'm climbing even a ladder, a small ladder, it's terrifying. You think she did it herself? Hey, Tia. I think she was able to come on the ladder. She did have some bruising. Where did that go? She did have some bruising on the body, but they weren't. Oh, really? Did they say that in the documentary, this one? The Netflix one? Hey, Sleepy Ninja. You think she was running from somebody. Okay, so let's rewind a little bit. The bookstore that she went to, this is very suspicious to me. The bookstore she went to, the last bookstore, even at Barnes & Noble, I don't ever remember being able to go there and say, hey, you know what? I'm buying one book, but I don't feel like carrying this book to my hotel. So can you deliver it to me? And this was, even back then, that was weird to me that would even happen or be a thing, especially because in the documentary, hey, misdemeanor, two men, which they don't show the footage, or at least I must have missed it if they did. Two men show up to the hotel and they say, we do remember seeing her on video another time. Two men showed up to the hotel. She walks up to them, gets a book, gets a box, which later is found in her room after her death. Hey, Insightly. And then the two guys leave. Why does it take two guys to deliver a book? And why the hell do you need a book delivered? It wasn't even a big box. Yeah, why was it in a box versus a bag? That's a great question, Robin. I didn't even think about that. Bruising their teeth with the brown water. Oh, if she was having an episode and climbed the fire escape, then you would think at least one person would have seen her. Exactly. Let's check in on Christy and see how she's doing. Okay, Christy. It is weird. Okay, so welcome, Jeffrey Taylor. She did it herself, but like you were saying, an evil is driving vulnerable people to, commit suicide. I don't think the books were, what do you think was in the box? What do you think was in there? Why didn't the alarm in the tanks go off? I didn't know there was alarms on the tanks. Because wait, didn't they oh no, they're talking about locks, because back then they did not have to lock the tanks. Maybe it was a satanic book? Oh, you think so? Yes, a block from Skid Row. Hold on, I'm going to mute while I shake this. Hey, fam damly. Yeah, so I found that very, very weird and interesting that was a thing. Now, later on, if you have not watched the last episode, I'm kind of going to skip ahead to this because it's about the bookstore. They look up and see like some sort of zip code or area code that this bookstore is in. Turns out that the cemetery she's buried in has the same code on it. What the hell? Richard Ramirez's birthday is February 29th. Leap year. This year is a leap year. I should go to the Cecil on that day. Oh my God. Yes, we got Christy here. Finally, I'm so happy. You figured it out. Can you hear me? Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Okay. Yes. I was just trying to figure this out. Sorry.
No problem. No, it can be a pain sometimes.
I just feel so bad because I'm so late coming in and I've never used this before. So I'm like,
no problem at all. No problem at all. Well, hop right in, you guys. This is my friend Christy. She's my Thrive buddy too. Her and I basically have been talking back and forth about this ever since we've been watching it. So do you want to give a little introduction? We'll pause there and give a little introduction on what you think about the beginning of the documentary.
Sure. Well, everybody, hi, I'm Christy. I started watching. To be honest with you, this case was one that I had just had my daughter when Elisa Lamb was found. And I just remember thinking to myself, oh my gosh, how is that possible that she was in the water tank for that long? And then on top of that, people were drinking and bathing in the water. And then my sister's one, she's a big conspiracy theorist. And she's always like, there's just something more to it. I know it is. Mm-hmm. And then the documentary came out and I watched it. And I remember telling you about it. I'm like, Robbie, you got to watch it because it kind of answered some questions, but at the same time too, it did not answer everything. And I'm sorry, I just don't go with the way that they say that it happened. And I don't feel it was her mental health issues. I think it was something else.
Right. Well, you mentioned the word conspiracy, which again, guys, this is going to be a spoiler if you have not watched the whole thing. And I remember hearing something about one of the conspiracies quite a while ago and just kind of blew it off. But the Netflix documentary made it a lot more clear. And I'm talking about the tuberculosis thing. And since you're just getting on and haven't had a chance to talk, do you want to kind of explain to them what happened with that?
Yeah. Hold on a second. I got issues going on behind me. Sorry. The tuberculosis thing caught me off guard because even in the news that was not shared. I had no idea that they did that. And I was really taken back and I was really surprised by that. I don't know if everybody else felt the same way that watched it, but I was just really, really surprised.
So let's see. I took tons of notes. And on the tuberculosis, so basically, what was it? 2 days after she passed away, if you guys weren't aware of this, there was an outbreak of tuberculosis in the homeless community there. And what's very strange about it, so she went to the University of British Columbia, where she went to college. They had a tuberculosis research center. So if you look at, what is it? Was it the vaccine or the medicine for what was it that, basically it's spelled exactly like her name,
But
And
backwards.
yes, backwards. So it's Lamb Elisa, spelled exactly the same way. That, in my opinion, is way too much of a coincidence. It was a
was too
test,
much of a
Lindsay says.
coincidence, and it was just way too. Okay, so what do they know that they're not sharing that's even more than what's been made public? For them to do that, something else they know.
Right.
And I know what she was going to school for because they touched on that. And then it started linking out, and the way that they had it all geographically done was like it ended up tracing back to the cemetery she's buried at currently. And I'm like, oh my God. That's where
Yeah.
like the conspiracy theory comes in.
Well, yeah. And okay. So with the whole vaccine thing, yes, they're saying it was the vaccine. So with that having her exact same name, her coming from a college that has a specific research department for tuberculosis, basically what they're saying, y'all are wacky, is basically maybe she was like a test, like a guinea pig to literally travel to spread tuberculosis. Normally I'd be like, okay, no, that's weird. But with it being her exact same name, 2 days later, and this crazy bookstore thing, which is, come on, why are they going to have the same, what is it, zip code in her cemetery as this bookstore? And this bookstore just happens to deliver her a box with two men bringing it with a tiny book inside of it. Come on. That's weird.
Yeah, that is really weird. And then the whole thing too, and see, like, Robbie, I know you don't listen to this type of music, and there's probably other people in the chat who do. But when they brought up the musician, I listen to a lot of rock music. Some of it, some people don't like. I've listened to the type of music that Morbid does. I don't know of his music specifically, but I do know of that kind of music. And when they started accusing him of possibly doing it, I was taken back by that. I was really shocked by that. And I even myself went into Google and I'm like, all right, well, let me see what they're saying. Because at the time when all that was going on and they were throwing his name out, I didn't remember seeing that in my community. So I went and started Googling things and looking. And yeah, I can see why they would think that he could have possibly have done that. But then you look at the dates and where he was, he totally had nothing to do with it at all. That was kind of not really shocking, because when it comes to things like that, they tend to go that kind of way. I mean, like, I don't know if anybody in the chat listens to Marilyn Manson, but like Marilyn Manson was blamed for Columbine, all that kind of stuff. It's like, if you're different and if your art is different, you're going to be the first one attacked. And I felt bad for Morbid in that sense. But then I'm like, okay, well, I can understand why some people would think that given his art. See what I'm saying? His art is different.
What?
But
yeah, exactly.
Still bad, though. Still.
Yeah, and it's all, I don't know, that this song about, what was he saying about Japan or Asian or something, and then death, and was it water or something? I don't remember what the lyrics were.
He mentioned water.
See, my opinion on that is it is a form of art, obviously, to do music and different types of music. I mean, I don't think he should have been blamed for death, but I do think that when you make music like that,
Yeah.
you know, and you're like rubbing blood or whatever, doing, you are going to at least influence some sort of weird stuff. Hey, Aunt Sally. So I don't know, but I definitely don't think. And then they tracked it, and basically they were trying to say, you know, he was staying in the Cecil Hotel at the same time, but it was a year prior. It wasn't even around the same time she was staying there.
There have been so many different things that have been said about this case alone, and there's so many different like theories and everything. And I tell you, the one thing that really got me that I really didn't pay attention to was the security video that they showed, and how 53 seconds is missing, and how down at the bottom It's blurred out and it doesn't match. And if you look at the times when you can see it, like if you can zoom it in enough to see, they don't match. Nothing syncs with the whole thing. It just doesn't match up. I thought that was really weird. And I was like, okay, well then what happened in the missing 53 seconds?
Exactly. Like, was there somebody there?
Yeah.
Some people are saying in the chat that maybe she was the vessel for tuberculosis to spread it, which, you know, if that was the case and the vaccine is called Lamb Elisa, spelled the same way, I mean, first of all, if you're going to cover something up, why would you keep the same name? Like, don't you think that'd be a little bit fishy? They'd be like, okay, let's change the name up, give her a fake name or something, you know? But maybe they're just not that smart.
That whole thing right there is just weird.
Right. Yeah. And then, so my aunt's saying that's weird. The police are experts. They would have caught some messing with it. Yeah, I agree. Unless everybody's in on it.
That's nothing.
You know, and if it's something as big as spreading tuberculosis, that kind of stuff, then, you know, I mean, some things are bigger than we can actually see. You know, the bigger groups of people or secret societies, stuff like that. We don't know how many are out there.
And you know, if you're going to bring up the tuberculosis thing, there was one thing that was said in regards to that was the whole homeless situation had gotten out of control, and that they were one of the things I heard was that they were going to use the TB as like population control against the homeless. But I don't know how true that is. I can see in some aspects why, and then there's other aspects of it that I still just
okay, this is weird. Like, some of these comments are really, really good. Like, okay, someone said, why didn't the cops look in the water tank? You know, and supposedly they did, and they just overlooked her, right? But Sandy's saying the hotel wanted business. The homeless was causing it to lose business.
I've heard that too.
Yeah, and since we're kind of on, you know, the shadiness of the hotel manager, you know, she's wanting to flip the area around. Then we have the tuberculosis thing, which is weird. And to me, people are like, okay, well, how would they know she was coming? Or how would they know this? You know, stuff like that. She was blogging this. You know, she was even on a site where she was wanting to meet up with people while she was there. She was talking about being stalked before she even left to go to California.
And then she said something about how her mouth was going to get her in trouble. Did you see that?
Yeah, well, no, I did, but I didn't even put two and two together with that. That's a good catch, Christy.
Yeah, she said her mouth was going to get her in trouble.
Yeah, that's very interesting. You know, and she's not into drugs. And so, you know, I mean, it seemed like she was pretty good about taking her medication, but if you guys didn't see the part where, you know, they found her prescription pills and they're like, okay, compared to the date that she refilled it, and now there should be more pills taken. So she was undertaking her prescription, which, you know, could be a sly way to slide it in there and be like, oh, we'll just blame it on that.
But she said something about the medication too. She didn't like taking them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and she and I kind of felt bad. There was like one part where like you're listening to them read her blog, and like she started talking about the medication, how she didn't like taking it, and how she hated the way that she was feeling. And she said she was tired. She said that. She said, I am just so tired. And I get it. I understand. You know, when it comes to mental health, I mean, you really don't know really what the person is really feeling, because they're so they can hide things. And even though they'll tell you they're okay, they really are not. And so I kind of felt for her at that point when you're listening to that. And I actually cried a little bit because I totally could relate to that.
Right. So as far as the taking the medication and stuff like that and undertaking it, and then of course, her sister saying she had a past of running around with kind of delusions or hallucinations, thinking somebody else was following her before, stuff like that. One thing that got to me about that I wanted to point out again was about the elevator. She was acting weird. So let's say nobody else was there, right? Let's say we believe nobody was outside the elevator. It still doesn't explain why the elevator was acting like that. Even holding it open, it doesn't explain why it wasn't moving after the doors finally closed. So either somebody's holding the hold open, the button on the outside of the elevator to keep it open and keep her there, or it's some paranormal crazy shit going on.
I'm leaning more towards, for that part of it, paranormal, and I've shared that with you and what I thought.
Okay, well, yeah, share it with everybody else on what you think about that.
Well, see, I don't know if everyone else has seen what I've seen, and I don't want to spoil it for those that haven't, but do you just want me to just flat out say it?
Oh, absolutely, yeah, because I told people...
I'll just flat out say it. I'm going to flat out say I think it's... let's go back to 1986, shall we?
Yes, please.
When a known Satanist lived at that hotel. We have no idea to this day what in the world he had conjured up on that rooftop that is still there today. I think there's more than one, and I think he's the ringleader of it and still making his presence known. And I do believe, without a shadow of a doubt, after watching Cecil Hotel with Ghost Adventures, and what they had gotten as far as evidence, that I think she was already dead when she was in the water tank, and I think that whatever did it, it has the power enough to harm humans and to be able to put them in the water tank and close the lid. You absolutely believe it. I think it was more than one, and him being the ringleader. I think it's 3. I will always believe it's 3. And they actually got his voice captured on the Ghost Adventures ghost box in his room. And her room. They were in her room, and he came crystal clear and said her first and last name.
Oh.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know if anybody else in the chat watched the Cecil Hotel or believe that part of it, but I absolutely, without a shadow of a doubt, 100% think that it was a demonic force that not only held that elevator and held her there, but also put her in the water tank. Absolutely.
Well, yeah, and I kind of like how they talked about, why was she naked in the water? They say when you start to get hypothermia, it's weird. Your body starts to react. You rip your clothes off. I kind of think that maybe if she was alive when she was in there, that she was starting to rip her clothes off to maybe try to, well, there were no ties in the clothes, but maybe to try to tie them together to see if she could climb out and throw it out or something. Or maybe they were just weighing her down, so she took them off. But why would you take off your underwear?
Yeah, I mean, she was completely naked.
Yeah.
But I don't want to say it because I don't want to freak anybody out.
No, go ahead.
I think that she was naked. If it turns out to be what I'm saying that I think it could be, when it comes to that kind of dark force, I don't know if the girl was a virgin or not, but I can understand why she would be naked if she was.
Okay. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? When it comes to that kind of dark force.
Yeah.
I'll just keep it at that because I don't know if there's kids listening.
Right. There was no evidence of SA. My brother's schizophrenic and he wasn't on his meds. He thought the mafia was after him. He escaped from the facility he was in and went to where he felt safe, and that was home. Yeah, and some people say maybe she jumped into the tank from who she was running from. Could
she have been running from that?
Exactly. You know, if you believe in spirits and demonic forces and stuff, then it's not a far cry to think that maybe she was running from some sort of weird entity, you know?
Yeah, because that whole whole hotel has a past, and it wasn't just him. There was another one too. There was two serial killers.
Okay. She was running from the boogeyman. What about because this is what confused me. They kept saying, oh, when the police went up there, it was closed. But I'm like, yeah, but the police didn't go up there first. The maintenance man went up there
Yeah, the
first.
maintenance man did. Yeah.
Right. But when he went up there, and this is going to be a spoiler, guys. If you have not watched the end, this is a big spoiler.
Yeah.
So it's about the lid to the tank. This whole time, you know, the media, everybody is saying that the lid was closed. How could she have closed the lid? Somebody else had to be involved. This is a huge spoiler, so tune out if you don't want to spoiler, if you haven't watched to the end. Basically, you get to the end of this documentary and they say, well, now the maintenance man is saying that the lid was actually open when he got there. And I'm thinking, you know, if we're looking at a cover up, if we're looking at a hotel and we don't trust the manager and stuff, I'm like, well, the maintenance man can say anything he wants to, you know? And so basically they're concluding saying this was all her by herself, her mental state of being bipolar, stuff like that. And she just jumped in there herself or, you know, fell in there. What do you think about that?
That was the case, then how would she be able to close the lid?
But see, they're saying at the end of it now that she didn't, that it was open. Which is weird.
When the cops went up there, it was closed. I need to go back.
It was closed. So basically, it was closed, and then the maintenance man, you know, I guess hey CDT, the media was saying, yeah, you know, when the maintenance man went up there, it was closed too, because he's the one who went up before the police. So to me, when they're like, yeah, the police went up there and it was closed, I was like, well, who cares what it was when they went up there? Because they're not the ones who found her. What was it like when the maintenance man went up there? So at the very end of this documentary, it's hard to catch because the maintenance man, he doesn't speak English, so you have to read it on the screen. He says that it was actually open, and that is like the big final, you know, finale conclusion of the documentary is that the lid was never closed; it actually was open the whole time. And so that's when it's like boom.
That's where I get confused with that part of it, because we were told for so long it was closed. Exactly. But then they say on this it was open. So it's like, what do you believe? I still think it's something more to it.
Oh, absolutely. Me too, because there's too many things that are red flags throughout the whole thing. Like, you know, the bookstore, the cemetery she was buried in, the college she went to, moving her from one room with a couple of other girls to another, but we're never hearing from these roommates. Where are the roommates at? I would be very interested if they're going to put a documentary together. I would be very interested to see what these roommates had to say about what her behavior was like before she got booted out of the room. Hey, Nellie.
From my understanding, when I watched the episode of Ghost Adventures, Zach said that her roommates were saying she was acting really, really out of it. Like she wasn't herself. And that's why they asked her to go to a different room, is what they said on Ghost Adventures. But they didn't really talk about that in the documentary. And I'm surprised they didn't, because they did in Ghost Adventures. That her roommates were saying that she wasn't acting she wasn't right.
Right. Well, so Adi, or Adil, is it Adil or Adi? Is saying, don't you feel like a lot of those things can be explained? Yeah, I mean, I think there can be an explanation for everything, but to me, the biggest red flag to me is the vaccine for being her exact same name, just backwards. Same
and the
spelling.
Of where it leads. That's, it's weird.
That, and then of course the zip code number. I mean, that number looked pretty complicated. There was even letters in it, wasn't there?
Yeah.
So,
Which I think the zip code in Canada, I think zip codes in Canada have letters in it.
right. Yeah. Yeah. Because she was buried like right north of what, Washington, I want to say, real close to the border, it looked like.
Yeah. Yeah.
My Aunt Sally's saying crime scene doesn't talk about her roommates wanting her away. Yeah, it's just saying that her roommates, she was basically kind of harassing them with notes around the room saying, leave, get out.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, that's a big part of the story. I would want to hear what they had to say about it. And they weren't there in the documentary at all.
None of them. And I thought that was kind of odd. I'm like, well, if you're going to do a documentary, they should be part of it. At least, if not all of them, at least one.
Exactly. Yeah. So, hey, Andy. Oh, he's watching the Netflix documentary now. So with me, I'm going to kind of give my overall, if I can grasp onto one thing, my overall kind of thing of what I think goes on. Again, this is just my opinion, and then you can give yours. Unless you want to go first?
No, you go first.
Okay. Mine's kind of crazy, but not really if you're into spiritual stuff and stuff. I firmly believe that, there's forces in this world that are bigger than us, and not only spiritually, but as far as secret societies, stuff like that. So I think as far as the demonic stuff, the spirits in the actual hotel, I absolutely believe that is a thing. I believe that also, this is going to sound a lot crazier. You guys are going to be like, dude, you're psycho. But I believe in demonic forces being amongst us in the world, like even in human form, as far as government, secret society, people in Hollywood, stuff like that. So to me, it's not a far cry. Hey, Mexi, it's not a far cry to say, oh my God, I think the government is demonic. Now, I don't want to get killed or chased down, but I think that this whole tuberculosis thing, I think the devil works with money. That hotel obviously was in need of money. That area was in need of, what is it? Gentrification? Did I say that correctly?
I think so.
As far as,
you're looking at too, the way I talk too, a lot of my stuff don't come out right. So I know what you're saying.
Like flipping it into a nicer neighborhood from, I think that's what was going on. So of course, if we have a test crash dummy to go over, and like you said, she said her mouth was going to get her in trouble.
Yep.
I have reason to believe that there's something way bigger that we're never going to understand or know, that can be demonic and belong to a secret society that has something to do with the tuberculosis thing. And going there, maybe her knowing too much, and boom, bada bing. I think there's a huge cover up here. That is kind of, to put it safely, my opinion. What about you?
Well, I kind of led onto it earlier with the whole spiritual thing. I think there's forces inside of that hotel that have the capability and the ability to harm humans.
Okay.
And can have the ability to kill. And I think that's what happened. Not to say all of it happened that way. I think that that is part of it. I think that her being in a new city, away from her parents, seeing that kind of life right there on Skid Row. She's never been to our country. She's never seen anything like that in Los Angeles before. I think that took her off guard. But yeah, the whole TV thing, I think, is a big cover up. I think it kind of all leads in together. Spiritual, government, all of it. All ties in together. And I think that's what happened to her.
Right.
Especially with the hotel manager. I don't care what anyone says. She doctored that security footage.
Somebody did.
Yep.
And, she's the one handing it over. So why? Why? But here's what I want to know. And they never address this. And why aren't people that are in power asking this question? can we look up footage of the hotel, of the elevator footage, and see a clear picture of the timing? Why aren't we seeing other elevator, so we could compare side by side? Why is this one blurry and this one isn't? Was the footage always like that? Was it always messed up? Was it just a crappy camera system? Or
I think it was a crappy camera system.
Really?
I do. Yeah, because if I remember correctly, even when this happened, the security footage, when they did release it, was kind of like that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it wasn't clear. You really can't see anything. And then the thing that kind of took me by surprise was that they came out and said they didn't have security cameras all over like the way it should. Like, if you look at the security footage on that floor she's on, there's just that one space we're able to see where she's outside of the elevator. Hey, Mexi.
Hi.
Hey, Mexi. This is Christy, my friend that I've met on here, and she's my Thrive buddy. Mexi,
Hi.
Christy, Mexi.
Hey.
Hi, Christy.
Hey.
Mexi also has
Robbie.
Mexi also has a very spiritual view on it, which I'm sure he's going to be going more into detail on his stream tomorrow night that we're having with the guys. But what do you think, Mexi?
Which part of it? There's like so many parts of it.
Kind of overall, because we're kind of like just going our overall theory on kind of like a general thing of what we think is going on.
Okay, I'll keep it very basic since we're going to get into it tomorrow anyway. But my general view of it is I think that she had a history of mental illness, which was bipolar. However, I think several things too. I think one, I think that the police somehow botched the case or did it intentionally. Two, I think that there's something deeper going on than what we can see, because it was such a high profile case. You would think that they'd have so much pressure in order to get to her more quickly. And
Right.
It's like, I don't know. I just feel like they dropped the ball on it a little bit. But I don't know. That could be human error too. It could be human error too.
So much human error cover up.
Yeah, I think that there's more going on. It's tough to decipher between the two, because it's like she was in the tanks, but there's, oh my God, there's so much. Like, I wish I could have all of the footage that they had so that I can see and try to piece those things together. But I feel like they're only giving us what they want us to see.
See, and that's the way I feel
seriously,
too.
Yeah, I seriously feel like they're only giving us what they want. Now, on the other side of it too, which I've talked about on the paranormal side of it as well, I talked about with you earlier, Robbie, is I believe that somebody with a history of mental illness sometimes is like somebody with like autism or things, where they're super, super smart in things and they have different capabilities and different abilities than we might have. And I think that sometimes people with mental illnesses can see the spiritual realm and can see like demons and other things. I think that they have a stronger ability, I guess would be a better way of putting it, a stronger ability of seeing the supernatural than we do. So I think it's very, very possible, with all of the history of death, the rapes, the murders, everything that's been in that hotel, I think it's very, very possible that something was attacking her spiritually. Like, as far as like maybe a dark entity or a demon. I think that there was something. And I think that they try to play it off in a sense of, oh, well, she had a history of, being bipolar and she's been known to hide and different things. Yes, that's true. But I also think that there's some truth to it where, like I said, there's some people that really are tormented by demons that have those abilities to see them. And it even says in the Bible, too, about the fruits of the ability, like people in the Bible like have different abilities and different fruits. People can talk in tongues. Some people can be like, for instance, like a form of a medium, or can see apparitions, ghosts, whatever you want to call them. Some people have those abilities. Some people are empaths. Some people have empathy towards things that have happened and have feelings, like those deep down in your gut type feelings that you can't shake, that you know something's wrong and you know something's not supposed to be there. And I do feel like that's more towards the area that I'm at. Like when I get a feeling of things paranormally, I feel it. Like I feel it. Something's not right. Something's off. It doesn't feel right to me. And then that's when things start happening.
What do you think about her parents never really speaking publicly?
I thought that was kind of. At first, I'm like, okay, all right, I understand. You know, they just lost their daughter.
You got to remember though, they just lost their daughter on one. Two is that they're from a different country too, so understanding kind of their culture. I don't think it's typically in their culture to go out, especially to, like, for instance, America. Like they're coming from their country to America, and then going public like that. I don't. Someone can correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't believe it's in their culture to do that.
Okay.
Am I wrong on that?
I don't think so.
I don't really know.
I don't think so.
So
see, people are questioning the lid being on and off again. I think a lot of people miss that because it's hard. With me, I get impatient with subtitles, but this one I was so drawn into it, but that I was trying to read everything, that the maintenance guy was saying, and it's hard to catch it in the end about the lid being off. So him basically kind of blowing everyone's mind, saying, "You guys thought this whole time that the lid was on. Hey, Amy," but in actuality, according to him, it was off.
Yeah.
Now, again, if we're onto the hotel, kind of the shadiness of it, and you need the key to get up to the rooftop and he's the maintenance man, that kind of makes me question it if we're just relying on him as well. I mean, who can be trusted, really?
Yeah, because then you'd have to consider all the avenues too. Okay, what's the other weird things that were happening? One, she was on the 14th floor. Her room was on level 5. So if you think about that, why in the hell was she all the way up to the level 14 to begin with? Like, what was she doing up there? Because that's closer to the roof. I think it's 15 levels. I think the 15th level is the top level, if I'm not mistaken. And so you think about it, it's like, why was she on the 14th floor? That doesn't make sense. Like, why was she up there to begin with? And when you start looking at the routes that you could take too, you start looking through the blueprints or the diagrams. What's the avenues that she could have taken? Well, the fire escape. The fire escape is... So if you were trying to... This is what I try to debunk myself in my brain. I think about it and I'm like, okay, so they're saying that there's only 2 ways up there. One, being the staircase and pushing that, which supposedly has an alarm that goes to the front desk. And supposedly the police tested it and it worked. Okay, so that's one way to get there. The second way is through the fire escape. So if she was batshit crazy, like they were saying, and she was trying to run away to get from something, my thing would be, why wouldn't she go down to get into the public area if she was running away from quote unquote something or somebody? Why wouldn't she go down to a public area rather than going through the fire escape to go up to the roof where you know there's absolutely nobody and you have no way of escaping? That's a really good point. So even if you're crazy and stuff like that, I would think that you'd have enough sound mind to know that if you're being chased, and I think that you would be smart enough to know, like even in that moment of hysteria, that the easiest way to have somebody overlooking and seeing you would be what? To go down the fire escape and have the rest of the population around you where more people are. Because if she felt like she was being chased by somebody, that would be my guess. I don't know. That's just my thought.
Someone said too she was playing the elevator game.
Right.
Did you hear that?
Yes. Yeah. Which is it's kind of like Bloody Mary, right? Except in an elevator. That's kind of how it works out, and then you die. Or there's some spirit that you summon. And also, actually, I didn't think of that before, Mexi. If you're running up and away from the lobby and you're going towards the roof, wouldn't that mean that you're kind of scared of the hotel itself or the staff? Somebody,
which somebody was saying, I was looking at the chat, someone was saying unless it was being blocked, but that would be pretty difficult because if you're blocking it, that would mean you'd have to have either multiple members, because if they're chasing her, they would be behind her. So you would have to have somebody chasing you behind you, and then somebody blocking the fire escape from down below to get down, go downward in a downward direction. But it's like you just try to think about it rationally. I don't know. That's my opinion. My opinion is that it wouldn't make sense to me why she would go up there by herself, regardless of being chased. If she was being chased, I think it would go the opposite direction. You would want somebody to see you in the public if you were being chased by somebody. Now I know she had a history. Again, I know she had a history of mental disorder, and she was known for hiding. But I don't know why she would just. I try to get to it, even with a mental disorder. I can't see it. She goes all the way up to the roof. Just happens to find that there's a tank, and just happens to see, figure out how to get inside of there, and dives inside of there to go try to hide from somebody. I don't know.
That's Did you see Fiona's comment? What if she was afraid of someone who might be in the public area?
Exactly.
Well, wouldn't you want to still be around more people, even if you were afraid of those that were in the public? Wouldn't it be it'd be like, okay, let's say somebody's chasing after you with a knife. My first instinct would be, hell, I'm going to where more people are so they can see me in case somebody's willing to help me.
Mm.
Either that or turn around with my gun that I have in my pants and just turn around and shoot. I'm just kidding.
You're always packing. Time well spent is saying 100% sure she was off her meds and fell in the water. She was out of her mind. Her sister said she would hide from people that weren't there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's what I was saying. Yeah. She was known to hide from people, and she was taking her meds at a lower dosage. But even if she was taking it, I still can't see it. Like, okay, of all places that you could hide within a hotel, you go to the top of the roof, which you have no idea what in the hell's up there. Like, if I was going to hide from something or somebody, not in a million years, I wouldn't think, hey, oh hell, well, I'm going to go to the roof and go hide in a freaking water tank.
Maybe she thought there was no water in it.
Well,
maybe,
I don't know.
But
how would you know that too? Like, I wouldn't know that. I wouldn't know that. Would you think, like, let's think rationally here for a second, though. Anybody, would you think, to look at okay, you go up to there and you say, oh hell, there's a tank of some sort. Let me go look on the top and see if there's a hatch that I can jump inside of. I would not rationally think, especially if you're in a panic, I would not think about it logically like that. I can't get myself to think like that. I keep trying to figure out how she got to that point. If she was, like they're saying, oh yeah, she was crazy, whatever, she was bipolar and she was off her medication.
She did say that herself. The hotel manager said she jumped in the lobby and said, LA's crazy, but so am I. You remember that?
Yeah, she did.
Yeah. And she did say that. But again, there she is addressing other people. So she's obviously not afraid. Okay, that proves another point of what I'm saying. She's obviously not afraid to go in front of other people and say something like that, because that's a pretty bold statement to say in front of a bunch of quote unquote weird people that you're afraid of. So she comes down there in the lobby and then just jumps out and says that. But you're afraid to go interact with other people? It's kind of, I don't know, it contradicts it to me. It's contradicting.
CDT says, were the shorts she was wearing men's shorts? They kind of look like it, actually.
Think so. Were they? They never did say, did they?
I don't know, you guys, but if you look at that ladder, look at the ladder that she had to climb up to get to the roof. If you're being chased, would you really want to climb up that because you have the possibility of like being in a hurry and slipping?
Yeah, falling.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. Like, there's so many like don'ts. Like you hear throughout your life, don't climb up the ladder, don't go on top of the roof, you can fall off the roof, don't go in here inside the, wouldn't all your brain eventually rationalize some of that stuff? That's why I can't see how she would get to that point. So that's why I think that there's something else involved with it, regardless of people that don't want to say, oh well, it's not a conspiracy, she just was crazy. But I don't know, that's a lot of coincidences, and usually you see that too many coincidences is not really a coincidence at all. Something else happened.
Well, and
See,
somebody's
April's
saying
going
she
along
was
with
playful.
how I feel. I don't think April, I don't believe she climbed that ladder either.
I don't know.
Yeah, I kind of don't. I mean, just because
I
it
don't.
looked. Oh, she was reading men's shorts, Sammy Smith says.
Wow.
In the
Okay.
autopsy, she was wearing men's shorts. Interesting.
That is interesting.
And somebody else was saying she was very playful kind of in the video, which I think she was too. She didn't look like she was in a panic. She looked like she was being playful, and like she didn't look really worried, in my opinion. She looked like she was having fun, kind of.
Until she stepped
and
out
then
and her
too-
hands looked funny.
Until she what?
And then
Until she stepped out the elevator and her hands looked funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, she did look a little either spooked out or something. Something was going on. But
It
also
looked like she's
too,
trying to
you-
explain something, like, I
Yeah,
don't
it
know,
was like
it's
she was
weird.
talking to someone, but you couldn't see who she was talking to.
Right.
look at all of her posts though too that she did to what was Tumblr. Like she seemed like an educated person to me. She went to school. She seemed educated. Like even in her writing that she had done, did she not seem, she's well spoken in my opinion.
Ooh, time well
Oh, that's
spent
a
says,
good
do you
one.
guys even believe she is dead?
Dang.
Now that I think about it. That's a good question. People have asked me the same question about the Watts case as well. Like there's so many conspiracies around every crime case like this that they say, do you really believe it actually happened? Or I don't know. I definitely believe that
Something happened. I don't know, but something happened.
Yeah, I definitely believe her name is on that tuberculosis vaccine, and it's not a coincidence. I think that is her name. That is my opinion, though. That's just too
just
much
reversed. Yeah, just reversed. that's
Yeah, who
crazy.
spells Elisa like that? And Lamb? Come on, together? No. Mm-mm. Who uses Tumblr? I don't. But I am interested to go through all of her Tumblr posts if they're still there. You guys know if they're all still there?
Still even around? Like, I don't. Gosh, that's an oldie.
Oh, it's not the vaccine.
Let's see. Was it from 2013? It's 2013, right? So, like, yeah, that's. I don't even know. I'd assume Tumblr's still going, but who knows?
Yeah,
I
I mean,
should look-
I haven't heard anyone use that or type that in forever.
Mhm. Well, see, and when you have something like that in a weird, because this is a weird case. Like it's not just interesting, but it's odd. It's things are off about it, and there's too many coincidences, like they said in the documentary. There's far too many for it to be just a coincidence,
Yeah, that's my opinion too. I think there's too many coincidences. Too many. And not to mention too that freaking the metal guy.
Yeah.
Oh, Morbid.
Morbid. God, yes.
Yeah.
That freak. I do feel bad for him. Can you imagine?
I do too.
Can you imagine having people attack you, giving you death threats, just completely disrupting your life and coming after you? I feel like the sleuths, the internet sleuths. It's messed up. Like how sometimes. That's why sometimes I don't like too many conspiracy theories because, like look what happened in his case. You have all these people that come up with these conspiracy theories and then just start attacking him, and pretty much destroy his life. He pretty much was attempting suicide, got thrown in a mental hospital. He had a record deal and pretty much stopped making music. So that look how much it disrupted his life because of all the accusations that he came against him. Because we're stretching so far to see if we can figure out the puzzle pieces to this, curious case. And
Sandy's saying Morbid
so
was
much.
a distraction.
I believe that too.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, it came at the same time as all the other stuff was going on. It's just, I don't know. It's unfortunate. I'm mad. I'm actually mad about it.
Did y'all see the investigator though, who was talking? What was his name? That Kitling guy. I'm probably saying his name wrong. But he was one of the investigators, and he had like short curly hair. I want to say his name was Ketling. Anyway, he was one of the investigators on the Tupac case.
Oh, really?
Yes. And he was
Interesting.
working on too.
That was definitely a conspiracy theory. Where the hell is Tupac at?
Brian and I watched it, and Brian's like, ain't that the dude that was working Tupac? Because he's done like documentary after documentary about Tupac, and here he is in this one, and Brian's like, oh my God.
Well, somebody was saying in the chat, like, why did it take so long? Like, they think that the hotel knew she was in there the whole time in the water tank. Why would it take so long? If you work in a hotel, I don't care what hotel it is. I used to work in a Best Western hotel. It kind of had the similar vibe as the Cecil, like not that nice, but it was kind of painted to look nice, but really it was trashy. The people that went there were trashy. If somebody would have complained about the water, we would have immediately done something to check whatever source we can to see where it's coming from. You know,
God, don't even get me started on the water. Can you imagine drinking that water?
Did you see the video?
Oh my God.
Someone took a cell phone video of that water.
Yeah, I saw that. Oh God. Just thinking about it, I literally threw up in my mouth.
Did the people who drank the water?
Joy said, did the people who drank the water sue the hotel? I've wondered if that couple that was from England that was staying there at that time sued, because they never did say. I have no idea. But they did drink it, and they bathed in it.
I would never want to hydrate again.
I'm never drinking water again.
The hotel wouldn't tell the couple what was going on. The media did. Yes, exactly.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I thought that was messed up. Yeah.
Yeah, I find it odd
that
because you think
it was super weird.
Yeah, because they obviously probably would drink the water there like on their lunch break, or if they're filling up their water throughout the day or whatever. Do you think somebody would notice a hell of a lot sooner than what was it? Did it go from what were the dates that she was missing? Wasn't it a couple of weeks?
She was missing for 19 days.
Yeah, come on.
Like almost 30.
And they said that when she was found, she was in a great state of decomposition.
Ew. So that water, had to have been disgusting.
Yeah. And if that had been me staying there at that time, yes, I would have sued.
Yeah, just let that be a lesson to you guys. You get what you pay for, right? I mean, like, honestly, if you like research that hotel, I'm sure you could. I research hotels before I go to them, because I ain't trying to go up into no freaking, place where everybody's been murdered and raped and everything else. Like, when I go like to a hotel, I want to make sure that I'm not in somewhere like fishy like that, for sure.
Ew.
Yeah,
time
that's
well spent
true.
saying she didn't have much skin like left.
That's right.
Ew.
Wow.
Wow.
Just imagine sitting there in the water for that long. Like, I sit at, you sit in the shower for what, like 45 minutes, and your hands are completely ruined.
I have a question. I don't know much about tuberculosis, but would soaking her in water get rid of if she had it?
That's a good question. I don't
like
think
soaking her body in there. Do you think that would get rid of any traces or form of tuberculosis in her system?
I don't know enough to.
We need a nurse.
Yeah, any nurses in here know about that? Because otherwise she would have just been buried somewhere, right? But if that's the case, what better way than to soak her body in water for a long period of time to get it out of her system?
That's a good point, Robbie. That's a good point.
Didn't think about that till just now. See, sometimes I have brain cells.
You're smart.
I am an RN. No, but it could give you. It could give you TB. TB is a lung disease. Okay, Mexi. Robbie does Oxford. Would it spread to the resident? Ooh,
that's not. Yeah, TB is. Yeah, you can easily get it.
Did any of the residents end up getting it besides the homeless community? She was in the water. That's what I want to know.
That's a good question too.
See, there's so many unanswered questions. And I feel like the documentary didn't cover everything that we truly wanted to know. It kind of opened our minds up to it.
Gave us something to shut us up, so we let it go. But I know it's raised more questions.
That's a good point. Maybe that was the whole point of the documentary, is to get like, no, this was it. The maintenance man said the lid was closed. That's it. Now stop talking about it. Okay, we solved it. No, bitch, you didn't, because that's just him saying it with his mouth. He's not actually showing us proof that it was closed or open.
Yeah, I would have preferred that they showed more video footage, but that's what I'm like. I'm like, if you want to shut the public up, the best way to do it is to show what you got, put all your cards on the table. Here's everything, you know, A, B, C, D. Here it all is. But like, I feel like they're missing video footage. It's, you know, like, especially when we were talking about the bookstore. Remember we were talking about the bookstore earlier? Why the hell did he send 2 people to go deliver a box?
That was
to there
so
when they went and
weird.
delivered that box to her from the bookstore. That's weird. Yeah. You know, that's like, I can't think of any company that would do that. Like, because you're wasting an employee's time. Here, we need 2 people to go deliver this box. Like, no. I don't know.
Barnes and Noble never do that for me.
Unless she just had like a shit ton of boxes that was just like in a huge box. Like, I'll have to. Did they even show? I don't even think they showed the video, did they? They didn't even show the video that I can remember of the guys delivering the box. So I'd be curious to see how big that box was that it required 2 people. Because I know books can get heavy at some point, but like it would require like a lot of books. And I don't foresee her ordering that many books to where it's that heavy where it requires 2 people to do it. Because I'm assuming that she would eventually want to take it maybe with her. I don't know.
Yeah, that part just doesn't make any sense to me. They don't pay you enough, even at Barnes and Nobles, and let alone to pay 2 employees to do it. No, sorry. Oh, they did show the video of the box, April? The guys delivering the box? I don't remember seeing that. Maybe we can look it up on YouTube somewhere or something. Again. Yeah.
I'm trying to look it up right now.
Yeah, when she took the box, where was the video taken at? Lil Mizzy says. Surprising that there wasn't padlocks on the water tanks. Yeah, the hotel manager said back then they didn't require that. Now they do, I guess. Anyone could have put poison in the water. Yeah. Well, if they can get up there.
Yeah, that was silly too. Like, I would have thought that. Why would you want somebody up there tampering? Because you saw how many people were up there because they had like graffiti, empty bottles, you know, broken bottles, pizza boxes. Like, obviously they didn't have a hard time getting up there, and so like you would figure like you'd be smart enough to lock those things, but I don't know. I guess not. Maybe oversight.
Yeah. Deanna, I don't know what the book name was. Does anybody know?
I want to say they mentioned it, but I can't remember what the title of it was. But I want to say it was going along with her school stuff, I think. I might be wrong on that.
Lufa says, I'm stoned. I'm going to shut up. Lufa, you're awesome. Red flag, not hard getting up there. The sister literally said she has a history of hiding from people. Yeah. The hotel also added mirrors in the elevator to be able to see what's outside the elevator on the footage. Wait, what does this say? Ron Howard, the producer, using YouTube commentary and simple sit-down interviews, pretty low-budget documentary. Oh, okay. I didn't know Ron Howard directed that or produced it.
Either.
Oh my God, look at what Allison said. I think this has been put out there to take our thoughts and suspicions off of Chris Watt's case because they know we're getting close. That's a great point, Allison. Poison people drinking it. Please remember only first 7 floors were part of the hotel. The remaining floors were residential.
Yeah, they did say that, yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, that's kind of my overall take on it. I don't know if you guys plan on finishing it or not, or, you know, if you have. But yeah, I mean, that was a good point, just to kind of get people to shut up about it and say, you know, the case is closed. We figured it out. There's no need for you guys to further investigate it.
But see, what they don't realize is people are going to still investigate it because nobody's going to be satisfied with the ending of that documentary because it really didn't give anything to shut us up. You know what I'm saying? Like, we still got questions.
Right. So which also leads me to, has anybody started Night Stalker? I know Mexi watched it. You just started it, Christy, right?
Yeah, I finished it. I watched it the
you
day it came out because I told you about it, and you're like, I can't do it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, maybe it was the other Christy that was telling me she just started it. And that one's only one episode, or is that one in
No,
episode?
that's multiple.
Multiple. Okay.
Yeah.
So after Mexi's live tomorrow, he's already watched it. I think we're going to get more into the Night Stalker, and I'm going to start watching that documentary. So we'll have that discussion next. Do you guys have anything in closing that you want to say about this documentary or this? Because I didn't want to spoil everything for you guys, but I mean, we are here to talk about what, we thought about it. So would you guys have anything to add about this or the story or the hotel itself? What you think about the hotel?
Well, the hotel itself has got a history.
Mm-hmm.
And it's, oh my gosh, there's just so much. Where do you start? You know what I'm saying? And then you add this, and that just excels it even more.
Right.
So I know you said, and we talked about it, where you were thinking that the hotel manager, what was her one job, was to turn that hotel around and like get more people in. Well, she did it. Because it already had dark history, and now you add this to it, and that just fuels the flame. I mean, people are going to now really think. Yeah.
Well, the only reason that, I was kind of suspicious of her is because her job is, she is a businesswoman, she was there to get traffic going in that hotel again. And I thought, if it's in Skid Row and stuff, you're going to need something huge to flip. It doesn't matter how nice you remodel it. Doesn't matter how much paint you throw on there or anything. You're going to need something huge to attract people to even that area, because they're not going to want to go to that area. What better way than to just make some huge mysterious story happen that people are like, oh my God, I want to go there so bad. That's why I thought that. The bookstore is still open. Call it sometime. Oh, maybe I will, but I'm kind of scared too. I kind of don't want to mess with them. They sink to the bottom of the tank if they drown. Yeah, because her clothes sunk to the bottom of the tank.
I think, I think her clothes are at the bottom. Yeah.
Yeah.
That should be a place, like if you and Mexi ever go like out of Colorado, that's where you and Mexi should go, is the Cecil Hotel.
Well, yeah, I know. I was all excited, and then it looks like they've been closed for remodeling since 2017. And it looks like they sold it to a different company, so they're trying to revamp it or whatever, which I'm sure that the Netflix documentary is going to help with the traffic going in and out of that place for sure.
Wait a minute, it's been closed since 2017?
Yeah.
All right, so they've tried to do an exorcism and nobody is leaving the hotel.
Probably. See, but that gets a lot of traffic to places. If a place is known to be haunted, it makes it a tourist attraction, which makes it get a lot of money. Cecil Hotel is a flop house. Exactly. So the only thing that's going to attract people there is if something famous, or in my opinion, if it's going to continue to be a hassle, just knock the shit down. Why keep it up?
Yeah, but you can't knock it down, because then you're really going to stir up some stuff.
Hold on a minute. There's a phone number for the hotel. Let me see. Let's give it a try. You want to before we go?
Oh, that's going to be awesome.
Hold on. Joey, where'd that go? Where did it go? Where did Mexi go, by the way? 325-3866. All right.
Hello. You've reached the front desk of downtown Los Angeles' deadliest hotel.
No way.
A dark past. Please stay on the line and listen to the following menu options.
Are you kidding me?
Or press 5 to access our privacy policy at any time. And as always, if you're calling to report a crime, please hang up and call the police.
What?
Main menu.
Why would you?
Press 1 to book a room. Press 2 to schedule a wake-up call.
Let's
Press
book
3
a
to
room.
report suspicious activity. Press 4 to speak
On the
to a manager.
I want to speak to a
Press
manager.
5.
Why would they have that as their voicemail?
Hi, this is Amanda speaking. I just poked my head around the corner and saw our manager speaking with detectives, and it looks like she might be a while. Also,
Holy shnikes.
we're talking about one of the most bizarre cases this hotel has ever seen.
What?
And between us, I take the stairs for now.
Wow.
I need to get more information on what went down, so I'm headed to go eavesdrop.
Joy, what
Would
the?
you like me to text you in a second? If not, hit 9 and it'll take you back to the main menu. Gotta go.
Joy, what the hell was that?
Oh my God.
That was like a. Well, what was it? The rejection hotline? That was fake. Oh, okay. I was like, wait a minute. They're saying why? First of all, what my first red flag was like, why would they leave on their voicemail that it's America's deadliest hotel? Like,
I'm
No.
over here. I'm sitting here. I'm dying laughing. I got tears in my eyes, laughing so hard.
they're profiting from the traffic. Where is the joke originating? Yeah, what? Where did you find that phone number at? Same voice that was Elisa's voice. Oh, come on. You think that was her on the voicemail? That's
No, it's
strange.
the hotel manager.
That was a good one, Joy. So unless you guys have any other closing things on what you think about this, hey Trisha, I know we are going to continue and kind of get more into depth on just focusing on the hotel tomorrow itself, I think, and of course, Elisa Lamb and stuff on Mexi's channel with the guys. But do you have anything else to add, Christy?
Just that this Netflix documentary still has me where I was before it came out.
Scale from 1 to 10. As
Do
far as
what?
on a scale from 1 to 10, 10 being the best, what would you guys all rate the Netflix documentary as far as being an all around informative, good? Do you think maybe they're in on some sort of conspiracy trying to cover up, or do you think that it was?
I give it an 8.
Oh, yeah, I kind of give it like a 7 because I was more so hoping that they'd go a little bit further into the detail of the other murders as well, because it did focus on Lisa Lamb a lot, which was good. But a 4, a 6, a 7.
I was really hoping they were going to talk more about Richard, but see, we're getting ready to have that discussion, so I can wait.
Yes, we're definitely going to get into, him walking into the hotel in his underwear, covered in blood, removing his clothing. We're going to get into that after we all watch The Night Stalker. If you haven't watched it yet, I have not watched it yet.
You're the only one of us who has not watched it yet, Robbie.
I know. The police
slacking.
Oh, he has risen from the dead. Where did you go?
I got a little boy who's running around rapping, and then my wife came home, so I had to.
He's rapping?
Yeah, he was rapping. He was going.
He raps like you do?
Yeah.
That's awesome. Mini Mexi.
That's funny.
Lufa needs to watch
I
it again.
I say 6.5. That's mine.
Okay.
I've been listening in the background. 6.5.
You guys feel like it was a cover-up of some sort, the actual documentary itself, or do you feel like it was just there to be informative of?
No, I think it's a cover-up.
Ooh, I kind of do too, and I think they're in on it with that manager.
Yep.
She was kind of pretty
weird. She's weird.
She's kind of.
She reminds me of a teacher you don't want to mess with in school.
Ooh. Yeah, she kind of looks scared though. Like when they're asking her questions, like she kind of looked like threatened by the people. Oh, Miss BB thinks
Yeah.
it's a cover up too.
So yeah, I think there's some kind of cover up going on. There's
Details,
something. There's something.
Yeah, too many coincidences. I'm not in their position. I can't say for certain how I'd feel. Yeah, standoffish.
Didn't she seem a little too defensive? Like, I think she was like way too defensive, and like, I don't know, just history has shown us, like, when somebody gets so damn defensive about something, like, sometimes they have something to hide. I feel like maybe she had something to hide. She was so damn defensive about it.
She's a Karen. She had a lot to hide.
Yeah,
You guys
she
are all
was
judging her.
Don't judge me.
I don't think she was like overly defensive, but she was kind of. I think maybe that hotel was for a 10-year period of time, kind of like her project or kind of her baby in a way. So I think she was more so being like, hey, it's not the hotel's fault. It's not the hotel that's evil. This just was a bad thing that happened. It's like, okay, well, what about the other million bad things that have happened?
Yeah,
there?
but that's my thing too. Like, she was saying, well, what am I supposed to do about it? Like I think people were like overreacting to it, because she was talking about how she was talking about how she thinks she handled it good about it pushing her to another room. If she was acting very erratic, like she was saying, and you have to isolate her into her own room, and she was saying, well, is that really just cause to call the police? I say, hell yeah, it is. Because if she's acting as erratic as you're saying, that you have to move her from one room to the next room, then what the fuck else won't she do? How do you know she's not going to haul off and kill one of your guests?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
If she's acting as erratic that you're saying, that you have to actually separate her into her own room from somebody, being in multiple, doesn't that raise a flag to you? Like, I don't know. It's crazy.
That's what Karens do. You got to separate.
We're just gonna classify her as a Karen, and that's case closed on that.
And look, Karen, too. Like, look at all the other things sketch that happened underneath your watch too. Like, I know that there's a lot of things that happen because it's a bad area, but like, if I was the hotel manager of that thing, I'd probably be calling the police a lot. I'd be like, look, like, we have somebody that's creating a disturbance. I had to kick them out. Like, I don't know what they're going to do. But she's talking about so many different murders and so many different, what was it, like 80 people within a 10-year span that she had seen dead in there?
Yeah, that's what she
from
said.
Her account.
Oh my gosh, 80 people in 10 years.
I would feel like I'm not doing my damn job. I'm doing something wrong if I have that many deaths on my watch within a 10-year span. Now, like, I know you're going to have, like, sometimes you're not going to be able to know, like, if somebody does a drug overdose or things, but like 80 deaths, that's an awful lot of freaking deaths in a 10-year span to have on your watch.
And then the thing that got me that she said was, when they found her in the water tank, she didn't call the cops at first. She called her mom.
Yeah, that was too. Yeah, that was to me like both me and my wife looked at each other like, why in the hell would you call your mom first?
Like,
Mom, there's some shit gonna go down.
No, you call the police first and say, tell them, call your mom after and say, the police are on their way here. This is going to be crazy. So just,
Mom, I have nothing to do with this shit. I just want you to know this ghetto as fuck over here. Okay, what I'm saying is, this ghetto place, all right now, and these motherfuckers be acting crazy sometimes, and this ain't my fault. I just want you to know, when you see me on the news and I say, hey, mama, that ain't my fault. All right?
You know what I think happened? I think she called her mom and was like, Mom, you know what's going to happen? We're covering up this big, huge conspiracy, and in about 10 years or so, there's going to be a cool Netflix documentary. I'm going to be featured in that shit, so get ready.
Get ready, mama. We're moving on up to the east side.
That is a good point, what PB&J said. 80 deaths in a druggy hotel is not a lot for 10 years. Yeah, even motels on, like, Colfax, they have deaths all the time. It's not a big deal. And crazy people, too.
I don't know. I could kind of relate. You got a druggie, right? But, like, wouldn't you want to try to do that? Like, because what she's saying, okay, now you got to think of two things. One, remember that they were renovating a portion of it to have it be like a reasonable, like, it's like luxury hotel. And then you got the other side that's the tenants and things. So if you're over here trying to do this project, which that's crazy in itself, like, who in the hell thinks of that idea? Well, yeah, let's have a bunch of drug addicts and all kinds of other things, riffraff, and mix it. and then have all of the same elevator in one slew. You get to see all the crazy people that along the way. Like,
have
We're going to the bathroom.
yeah, it
in
should
the
have been
elevator.
one elevator to go to the one that they were trying to do that were making it, classy or whatever, and the other elevator to do the normal residents and other things.
Yeah, I mean,
That's
they really
crazy.
should have been too.
But again, I guess that's why it's not a good idea to have me as a manager. God, I'm
I'll tell you what, it is good to have Sandra. I talked to Sandra about going. She was excited about it. She's either going to be on stream, Sandra the Medium, next Monday at the Haunted Hotel. Mexi is going to show up around what time? Mexi, are you going to be at the hotel? So I'm not going to be there completely by. Okay, so I'm going to be there by myself for like 12 hours.
You got to stay. You better not leave.
Yeah, if he does, he's got to at least let me back in.
Maybe I should give you tell your wife to come. She could use my spa treatment.
Oh, she hates paranormal. She hates paranormal stuff. She is like, she doesn't even like watching scary movies. My wife is like, doesn't like watching scary movies. It took me like 5.5 years just to get her to watch like Annabelle.
Oh man,
it's not even that scary. It's not even that scary. Yeah.
You started her on Annabelle. You should have did something
and
like
Conjuring. I got her to watch The Conjuring too, so I got her to watch the whole series. But it took me 5.5 years to get her to watch anything. Period. And like after that, like after we watched the series, she's like, never again. She had nightmares like back to back to back about demons. She's like, I'm never watching scary movies with you again, ever. I'm like, okay.
It freaks me out in The Conjuring when the little girl, she tells her sister, she whispers and she freezes. She's like, there's somebody staring in the doorway. Because that reminds me of when I was little and I'd freeze up when I would see stuff. It just freaks me out.
Save Robbie for president. I'm out.
Oh, he's out.
At least he said bye to you this time.
At least he said he's voting for me for once.
Yeah, this is true.
Pet Cemetery. Yeah, I'm a fan of like scary movies that make you jump and stuff, like more mystery, but sometimes those demonic ones, you just like The Nun. Oh God, The Nun was creepy.
You remember what I told you about the scary movie that I'd have you watch if I ever come to Colorado?
Which one?
I told you that I would have you watch the Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Oh, yeah, that one grossed me out for a long period of time. I was a vegan for many years after that movie. many years. What was I going to say before we go? Oh, I was going to see if somebody was live that we can rate. I think Will the Glare, I think he was going live about.
There's a bunch of people going live tonight.
Yeah, what was it? Oh, the Glare is live, guys. So of course we'll go over and raid him. The topic on that live, let's see, is the WWE and Mr. Zod. I don't know what that is, but we will go over and save Robbie raid to Will, guys. How about that? You eat Mr. Zod. Uh-oh.
And Robbie, we'll go ahead and let you go.
Thank you so much, Christy, for coming on. You're going to have to come on again for the Night Stalker. Richard Ramirez. Absolutely, because, yeah, you were the one that mainly got me excited about that one. And, of course, that goes hand in hand with the Cecil Hotel, since he stayed there for, a whole entire year, right?
Yeah, he was there for a long time. But take my advice, though, because of how scared you get. Watch it during the day. Start it tomorrow. You're off tomorrow.
You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to practice for next Monday, and I'm going to watch it at night. I need to build up my scare tolerance.
Okay, I will have my phone on in case you need me.
Oh, please, definitely do so. And thank you for staying. I know you go to bed a little bit later. Love you, April. I know you go to bed a little bit later or earlier in the evening. So thank you for staying up and hanging in there with me too, because it's later your time. I'm sure it's 7:15.
It's 9:14 here where I'm at.
Okay. And thank you. Well, thank you for joining, and I'll talk to you later when we get off of here.
Sorry it took me so long to come on. I'm new to this whole thing. So.
Oh, you did good for being new. Trust me. But thank you, and I will talk to you shortly.
All right. Bye, everybody.
Bye, Christy. Okay, guys. So as I put Will's link in the chat. You too, Laura. Thank you guys for the good conversation. There's so much to talk about, and I took so many notes on it, but I feel like we got a bunch of thank you for giving your perspective, your views on it. Again, you know, this is all just opinions. We're just saying what we think. We're not professionals. We're not detectives, but it is nice to have conversations on that and see what you think. Thanks, Deb. Thank you. Much love to you, Deb. Good night, Christola. If you guys want to head on over, I'm putting the link in repeatedly for the Will the Glares live right now. If you go do a Save Robbie raid on him. And I will talk to you guys later. Thank you so much for joining. It's been a great conversation. I'm very interested to watch The Night Stalker. Join us tomorrow night on Mexi's stream with Seeking the Truth with Dave and Prairie Boy 77. And then, of course, next Monday. You too, Andy. Good night, April. Next Monday at the Oxford Hotel in Haunted Room 320, we are going to see if we meet the ghost of Florence. I'm very excited about that. I'm so excited about it. It's going to be so fun. All right. Let's see. One more time. Let's do it one more time. I'm going to pop his link in the chat one more time. Yeah, everyone go over to Will. Good night, April. My ex-friends with prison guards where the Night Stalker was. He said you could feel the evil. Ooh, I could imagine, Kim. Bye, Fiona, Sheila, Giaco. Good night, everyone. Thank you so much for coming in. CDT, Jewels of Thought, thank you for stopping by. Thank you to everybody for the wonderful conversation. Again, thank you to Mexi and Christy. I'm sorry everybody else couldn't make it. We had one person get sick. Bye, Sheila. Jackie, bye, thank you. And I'll be listening over in Will the Glares chat. Call, text as well, sweetheart, everyone. Good night, Amy. Joanna, bye, guys. God bless you. I'm going to get some good rest tonight. I'm feeling really tired. Okay? Good night. I love you, and I will talk to you later. Bye now. No chance. No.